Let's talk Oscar nominations. Oh boy, they came out last Friday, and Joe and I have been honing our hot takes all weekend. I am very excited to talk Oscar nominations. We got some big time snubs. We got some obnoxious surprises. We're gonna go through these Oscar nominations and kind of reflect on them. Let's start with Best Picture. Best Picture. A lot of familiar names: Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave. So far, no surprises. Dune Part 2. Amelia Perez, which had the most nominations overall at 13. We've got Wicked. And then we have what I think are the three slight surprises. I'm Still Here, the Walter Salles movie. Nickel Boys, which I was very glad to see make the cut. And The Substance. Love seeing horror get a Best Picture nom. That's very cool. You have to imagine that those were probably the bottom three, and they probably got in just over A Real Pain and Sing Sing, which are probably the first two off of this list. So no huge surprises here, but some nice little surprises. So Amelia Perez and The Brutalist were definitely the front runners coming out of last Friday, but man, oh man, both of these movies are hitting a real rough patch lately in terms of the news cycle. Because remember, no one has yet voted for winners. They did the nomination votings, but the final voting takes place from February 11th to February 18th. So we are right now in the most important period for Oscar campaigns, because right now probably people have seen most of these movies or all these movies, but now is when the news cycles start to develop, the discourses start to develop, the buzz starts to develop, and a lot of these freaking Academy voters are just voting based on buzz, based on sort of trajectories. They don't want to be left out in the cold. They want to vote for the winner, and so they're following the buzz. They're going to go with the crowd on this stuff. So the news cycle really matters between now and February 11th. The Brutalist had its big AI accent controversy where they juiced up the Hungarian accents with AI in post, and that raised a lot of questions about, is this like baseball players taking steroids? Should this be allowed? Should this be disqualifying? I don't know. And then Amelia Perez, oh man, has just been getting savaged online ever since it got all these Oscar nominations. You've got a lot of people just sort of saying it's a bad movie. That's a big take right now. Amelia Perez is a bad movie. But there's also been a lot of criticism about representation in the movie. It's set in Mexico, but not shot in Mexico. And Jacques Audiard, the director, had a weird kind of quote where he was said he didn't do a whole lot of research about Mexican culture or something before he made the movie. I went back and read the quote. It was an interview where there was the interview was being translated because he doesn't speak, he's speaking French, the interviewer is speaking English, and the quote's kind of hard to make sense of, but people ran with it and said that he is not respecting Mexican culture. There's also a lot of gay rights groups saying that the movie perpetuates harmful trans stereotypes, trans people as criminals, transitioning as a betrayal of one's family. And those things are very specific to the story this movie is telling. I don't think they're supposed to be meant to be broadly representative. But let's not get into all that right now. The question I have for you, Joe, is this bad press going to hurt the chances for The Brutalist and Amelia Perez to win Best Picture? Is it going to hurt their chances? And if so, who could sneak in and steal this race out from under the nose of The Brutalist and Amelia Perez? Which of these nominees do you think has a shot to come in and grab this thing?
I don't know how much this is going to influence the nominees. I'm definitely not saying it's nothing. Obviously, current events and media affect the nominees and the winners. I just don't know if the Amelia Perez detractors are going to be able to get their message up to all the Academy voters in time and convince them.
Yeah.
And then additionally, The Brutalist, I feel like A24 and Brady and the team did a good job throwing the fire blanket over that AI moment and talking about how small it was. But that being said, I think it could hurt Adrian Brody in his race for Best Actor. So I think the noise is important. I think what's more important is the broad Trump has been reelected this year. Will voters want to give him a supposed, perhaps bizarre middle finger with Amelia Perez, TBD? But if any film is going to knock one of those two off, and I do think as of right now it's still their race to lose, I have a kind of not surprising but kind of surprising answer.
Yeah.
I think based on every single thing I've seen in 2024 that the Neon team really knows how to run a campaign, and I think Honora might make a late push for the cool movie that's good, as Amelia Perez gets labeled too weird and too problematic, and the Brutalist sort of succumbs to boringness. Maybe Neon pulls out a squeaker. They won the Palme d'Or.
It's hot. It's sleek.
Hot.
It's a fun watch.
And it's sort of like a zag on some of the, maybe the discourse sort of rankles some voters and they just kind of go a different way. We haven't heard Honora mentioned for a minute. Because you win the Palme d'Or. You come out of the gate in award season so hot, nobody wants to yes and you, because then they look like a follower and everybody wants to have their own unique take. But now enough time has gone by.
Okay.
Who knows? Now that's not really based on anything I've heard. That's based on pure vibes and speculation.
Let's look at director. We've got Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, James Mangold, what the fuck, for A Complete Unknown, Jacques Audiard for Amelia Perez, and Coralie Fargeat for The Substance. Now, we're going to be revealing our favorite directors of 2024 in the second half of the show for Patreon subscribers only. But for now, Joe, what do you think of the Academy's picks?
I'm surprised by the Mangold pick.
Crazy.
I think a lot of people were. The Oscar voters like biopics. They are all 60-year-old men. They like that stuff. Mangold got nominated. And then I think the thing I'm actually most surprised about is that Denis Villeneuve didn't get nominated for Dune 2. I really felt like Dune 2's sort of award this year was going to be the nom for Villeneuve, saying, okay, bet you're good at directing movie, good job. Obviously you did a very good job directing that. It's nominated for Best Picture. It has the stars in it. I just kind of thought that was going to be it, but it came out so long ago, Brett, that Mangold was able to sweep in, and we knew it because we prophesied the future of Hollywood. But a big surprise is Coralie Fargeat.
Pat on the back here. Pat on the back.
She took The Substance. She did not only was Demi Moore gonna be nominated was a question this whole entire award season, and now it's almost done that she's gonna win.
Yeah.
So she played her part perfectly, and she brought the whole entire ship up with her.
Back in mid-November, Joe, not Variety, not The Hollywood Reporter, not any of the Oscar Watch sites. We were the only ones who had Coralie Fargeat in the top 5 of our Oscar Power Rankings for Best Director. The others didn't even have her close. But we said The Substance is trending up. We said people are sick of this category being only men every year. We said Coralie Fargeat, lock it in back in mid-November. We should be betting on this shit, Joe.
Look at God. There it
Come
is.
on.
The other snub that people thought was going to be was John Chu.
John Chu for Wicked.
And I, on this podcast, proclaimed loudly and emphatically after we saw Wicked that John Chu can't be nominated. But that's because I thought he was going to get nominated. And now that he's not nominated, I'm like kind of sad. I was like, I love Wicked. John Chu's fun.
You spoiled his campaign.
Did a musical.
Would have liked to have seen Ramel Ross get a nomination here. And we're not talking about our favorites, just like the people who sort of conceivably could have been nominated. But I was just surprised because Nickel Boys gets a Best Picture nomination, and it's like 90% of that movie is the direction. So it's like you thought it was worthy of a Best Picture nomination. I mean, look, if there were 10 nominees for director, he'd probably get in, but there's only 5.
All 5
of
the noms were nominated Best Pictures.
Yes, yeah.
But to your point,
Mangold, though, is the crazy one.
When you watch Nickel Boys, everybody leaves the theater and goes, wow, the director really had a sincere vision.
You don't leave A Complete Unknown and go,
right?
Great direction.
Wow, what a sincere vision.
Yeah. No, you say mid-direction, bordering on competent, I guess.
Do you even mention it? You just get in the car and you talk about the
performances. And I love Mangold, right. Ford versus Ferrari, baby, but he did not deserve to be in this category. Let's look at Best Actress. We've got Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison, Honora, Demi Moore, The Substance, Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here.
Power.
Now, this is an interesting category because on the one hand, it's really hard to argue with any of these noms. But on the other hand, this category has my biggest snub of all, just based on the quality of the performance, which is Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Mike Leigh's Hard Truths. And look, it's a small movie by a British director, but
But you're not pulling it out of your ass. It was in the top 5 of like every prediction.
Yes.
It's not like you're like, here's some random performance I thought was good.
It was trending
She
up.
was going to win.
It was getting recognition.
She was going to win.
It was really getting recognition. I thought it was going to sneak in here. And then if it had just snuck in, I think it could have had the juice to win if it had just snuck into the nominations, because then it would have an extra couple 2-3 weeks to really pick up momentum and for people to see it if they hadn't seen it yet. But it was not to be. Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl also didn't make the cut.
That's the more surprising one, because A24 and Kidman Inc. really wanted that nom. They were really pushing it the whole season, and it just didn't materialize, which is
0 noms for Baby Girl. Saoirse Ronan also a big snub, but she split. I think she split her own vote by giving not 1 but 2 Oscar-worthy performances this year in Blitz and The Outrun. Saoirse, you got to save them. You can't give 2 Oscar-worthy performances in 1 year. You're going to split the Saoirse vote.
Less good acting.
Thank God Angelina Jolie for Maria didn't stick in here.
That movie was really bad.
It was bad. That was just false hype.
I did not
false
like that
hype
movie.
coming out of the
I'm
festivals. A Pamela Anderson nom would have been cool for The Last Showgirl, but I don't think you can call her a snub with the quality of the nominees.
I think Demi's going to win. I don't think Mikey is going to steal this one. And I think the hot young thing this year, Brett, is going to be
Timmy, baby. So let's talk about Best Actor, because the nominees are Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown as Bob Dylan, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes in Conclave, and Sebastian Stan sneaking in for The Apprentice, which I love, one of my favorite performances of the year. The big snub here is probably Daniel Craig in Queer, but love to see Sebastian Stan get on this list. But like Joe said, Adrian Brody was the initial front runner, but the AI controversy is probably going to hurt him the most. He's not like great at press, he's kind of a weird guy. And meanwhile, Timmy is just crushing the press, crushed on SNL, doing the Bob Dylan deep cuts, dressed like freaking Urge Overkill. I don't know what that was, but it was cool. And people liked it. He's the new James Dean, I guess. Gen Z James Dean.
Sure thing.
I think he's gonna win this one as well. I think it's Timmy's race to win right now.
He's the hot young thing this year. Total the Brody Corbett thing, the AI just sunk it, and Daniel Craig not being in there is definitely just a path forward, just to get all those votes out of the way. The fact that Craig wasn't nominated, I would say on a personal note, is a very offensive snub, because that was a very, very wonderful performance. My God.
Let's look at supporting actress. Now, I will say this: we picked 4 out of 5 of these nominees. We predicted 4 out of 5. The only one we did not predict was the surprise Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown.
That's because I was pushing Deadweiler hard, right, for the piano lesson.
I think piano lesson was just not.
It's just too small.
The movie was not good enough, and it just, I think that kind of hurt the performance. Meanwhile, people liked Complete Unknown so much that probably helped Monica Barbaro's chances playing Joan Baez, and she's very good. But the big snub here is Selena Gomez not making it for Emilia Perez, considering that Emilia Perez got so many other nominations. It could have got the most, could have tied Titanic if Selena had gotten nominated, which is weird because she's the most famous person in the movie and was the only of the 3 leads not to get nominated. I'd hoped Natasha Lyonne might sneak in for his $3, but that was a long shot. Joe, what do you think of supporting actress?
I was the only person in the world besides you that thought Selena Gomez was fun and good in Emilia Perez. So
yeah, people don't like her in it.
People don't like her in it. They think she's horrible in it, and I think
she's great.
It's a weird movie, and she's weird in it, and it's fun and good.
Yeah.
Who cares? Shut up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know about that. I think Zoe Saldana might be the person that gets hurt from the Emilia Perez backlash, because so early in the season, this was Zoe's going away with it, and now I would really. If I was Zoe Saldana, I would sleep with one eye open, because Ariana Grande is coming to get
this
you.
Is my question.
Coming to get you.
If Wicked is going to win, because look, there is totally a world in which Wicked wins 5 Academy Awards.
Yeah, I just kind
There's
of
also a world in
right
which
now.
it wins 0.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Wicked.
Yeah. What's its best chance at an Oscar? Is it Ariana? It might be Ariana.
It's Ariana
in this category.
I'm rooting for Wicked this Oscar season, because why not? And it's fun, and I like it, and I want it to win.
Look, it should be Isabella Rossellini. As much as I like Zoe Saldana and Emilia Perez, it should be Isabella Rossellini, because not only is she great in Conclave, she was also great in La Chimera.
But it doesn't say and La Chimera. It just says Conclave. It's fucking stupid.
Supporting actor, we've got Yuri Borisov from Anora, who plays Igor in Anora. Is that right, Igor? He's like the tough guy with the
he's like
soul,
he's
right?
the nice guy.
We've got Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain, Edward Norton playing Pete Seeger in A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice. The Apprentice getting 2 nominations. Now, the big snub here, obviously, no Denzel for Gladiator 2, spoiling remember I predicted back in like February or March or something that Denzel was going to win Best Supporting Actor for Gladiator 2 before there was even a trailer out. Well, there goes my prediction because he didn't even get nominated. Without Denzel in the field, Kieran probably wins this one walking away. This seems like out of all the maiden categories, the one with the clearest front runner right now. Hard to imagine Kieran not winning this. The biggest surprise, I think, along with Sebastian Stan, is Jeremy Strong getting nominated for The Apprentice. Because remember, The Apprentice only a few weeks ago was like the movie no one wanted to like touch or go near. They didn't even want to like Sebastian Stan couldn't even get like a Variety Actors on Actors interview because no one wanted to talk to the guy who played Trump. But here they are with 2 nominees in major categories. Best Animated Feature Film. I just want to shout out my favorite movie of the year, Flow, which I think, look, it's up against, this is a real underdog story. It's going up against The Money and Inside Out 2, the most profitable or the highest grossing animated movie of all time. It's going up against another like critically acclaimed movie in The Wild Robot. Joe thinks Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul has a shot
Hey,
here.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes, baby. On Netflix.
I think Flo can win this thing. It obviously deserves it. I would say out of all the major categories, and obviously I'm a little biased here, I think there's the biggest disparity in this category betwing the quality of one movie against the quality of all the other movies.
Did you see Wallace and Gromit?
I have not seen Vengeance Most Foul, but I've seen a lot of Wallace and Gromit in my life. I saw The Wild Robot. I think it's good. It's not nearly on par with Flo. Inside Out 2, not even close to Flo. And Flo won the Globe. Let's look lastly at Best International Feature Film. The nominees are I'm Still Here from Brazil, The Girl with the Needle from Denmark, Amelia Perez from France, The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany by an Iranian director but had to flee and get it distributed in Germany because of the nature of the movie, and Flo once again getting a second nomination from Latvia. Now look, nothing against any of these nominees, Flo and Seed of the Sacred Fig, 2 of my favorite movies of the year, but the biggest crime that was perpetrated in this year's Oscar nominating process was that All We Imagine Is Light, Payal Kapadia's All We Imagine Is Light, probably the best movie of the year, my 3rd favorite movie of the year, probably the best movie of the year, did not even get submitted for consideration for Best International Feature. And the fault for that lies with the FFI, the Film Federation of India, which is this all-male, old-guard nominating body that chooses which Indian film is going to be submitted to the Oscars for Best International Feature each year. They made some head-scratching decisions in the past. They're generally seen as just sort of old-fashioned and out of touch. But All We Imagine Is Light was a slam dunk. It was so critically acclaimed. It was on so many best-of lists. Payal Kapadia is getting nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Director. So it's like not even the FFI can mess this up, right? Just nominate All We Imagine Is Light, and it's probably going to win you an Oscar. It's probably going to win India an Oscar for best international feature. But then, of course, they nominated a movie called Lapida Ladies, which, to be fair, I have not seen, but based on everything I've read, I think I can safely say is not on par with All We Imagine Is Light.
Well, you watch it, and then you come back and tell us.
I will, but look, the proof is in the pudding. It did not even get nominated. It didn't even get nominated for Best International Feature, whereas All We Imagine Is Light would probably have won this category. And then, when people started asking, what the hell happened here? Why didn't you nominate All We Imagine Is Light? The head of the FFI jury, Janu Barua, he first implied that the movie wasn't Indian enough, which is odd because it's set in Mumbai and just deals with the lives of everyday people in Mumbai. But then he said, really stepping in it, he said, and I quote, "The jury felt that her film was very poor technically." Very poor technically? This is like a masterpiece. This is like an unequivocal masterpiece. Very poor technically. What, did she hit you with her car? Like, what the fuck is going on? What? Get your shit together, FFI.
Listen, dude, you see Lapida Ladies, and then you come a-calling.